The Berlin Wall was a very strong barrier. East Germany built it suddenly in August 1961. Its main purpose was clear: to stop East Germans from fleeing to West Berlin. The wall cut Berlin in two. It became a powerful global symbol representing the Iron Curtain. This imaginary line divided Europe into communist East and democratic West. The Berlin Wall showed this deep split. Life behind the wall in East Berlin was hard. People faced many restrictions and could not speak freely. The secret police, called the Stasi, watched everyone. Many people longed for Western goods and culture. Freedom was a distant dream for them. In West Berlin, life was very different. It was an island of democracy deep inside East Germany. Families were cruelly separated by the wall. Brothers could not see sisters, and parents could not see children. This caused great pain for many years. The division felt permanent. Things began to change in the Soviet Union. Mikhail Gorbachev introduced new policies called Glasnost and Perestroika. Glasnost meant more openness, and Perestroika meant economic restructuring. The Soviet Union started to loosen its grip on Eastern European countries. This gave people hope. In East Germany, unhappiness was growing. The economy was struggling, and people lacked basic political freedoms. They wanted real change in their lives. They saw reforms happening in other countries like Poland and Hungary. East Germans started to demand similar changes. Protests started to take place, with Leipzig becoming a center. Monday demonstrations were held there. People marched peacefully through the streets chanting "Wir sind das Volk," meaning "we are the people." The number of protesters grew each week. The government felt increasing pressure. Hungary took a very important step in May 1989 by opening its border with Austria. Thousands of East Germans traveled to Hungary and crossed into Austria, reaching West Germany. This escape route further weakened the East German regime. The government was losing control. The East German government was in trouble. It faced huge pressure from its citizens. The old hardline leader Erich Honecker was gone. New leaders were trying to calm things. They decided to change travel rules. Günter Schabowski, an East German official, held a press conference on November 9, 1989. The conference was broadcast live on television. Schabowski was tasked with announcing the new travel regulations. He seemed a little unprepared. Schabowski read details from a piece of paper. He spoke about new rules for travel. East Germans would be allowed to leave. An Italian journalist asked when these new rules would start. Schabowski looked down at his notes, appearing somewhat confused. Then he made his famous statement: "As far as I know, it takes effect immediately without delay." This was not what the government planned, but the words were out. The news spread like wildfire. People in East Berlin heard Schabowski speak. They saw it on television and heard it on the radio. The news spread very quickly. Thousands began to walk towards the wall, heading for the checkpoints. Large crowds soon gathered at the border crossings. They faced the East German guards, demanding that the gates be opened. The guards were very confused and had not received any new orders. Their superiors gave no clear instructions. The situation became incredibly tense. The crowds grew larger and louder. At the Bornholmerstrasse checkpoint, things were critical. Lieutenant Colonel Harald Jäger was the officer in charge. He faced an enormous, restless crowd. He made many urgent calls to his superiors, but received no clear commands. The pressure on him was immense. He feared violence could erupt. Jäger made a historic decision to act on his own. He ordered his guards to open the gates to prevent a dangerous crush and avoid bloodshed. Shortly after, other checkpoints in Berlin also opened. The wall was finally breached. People started to pour into West Berlin. The scenes that night at the Berlin Wall were unforgettable. People from East Berlin met people from West Berlin. They hugged each other warmly. Many people cried tears of pure joy. The city was alive with excitement. Strangers embraced like old friends. Families were tearfully reunited after decades apart. Champagne corks popped in celebration. People climbed onto the wall, singing and dancing together. The atmosphere was electric, like a massive street party. Berlin was celebrating its newfound unity. Some people brought hammers and chisels, chipping away at the hated wall. These individuals were called Mauerspechte, meaning wall woodpeckers. They wanted to take a piece of history home and help destroy this symbol of division and oppression. Disbelief was also a common feeling. For 28 long years, the wall had stood as an unbreakable barrier. Now, suddenly, it was open. It felt almost like a dream, but it was wonderfully real. A new chapter was beginning for Berlin. News of the Berlin Wall's fall spread rapidly around the globe. Television screens everywhere showed the amazing scenes. People watched in complete amazement. Many felt a great sense of hope. It seemed like the Cold War might finally be ending. A new era was dawning. World leaders reacted in different ways. The US President, George H.W. Bush, was cautious but pleased. British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher expressed some worries about a reunited Germany. French President François Mitterrand shared similar concerns. West German Chancellor Helmut Kohl was overjoyed. The fall of the wall was a massive blow to communism. It showed that people desired freedom above all. It greatly weakened the Soviet Union's influence in Eastern Europe. Other communist governments in the region soon began to collapse. Change was sweeping across the continent. This single event profoundly changed international relations. The old conflict between East and West started to fade. A new global era was beginning. The most immediate result was German reunification. This happened very quickly, less than a year later. In October 1990, Germany became one country again. Berlin was chosen as its capital city. Bringing the two parts of Germany together was complex, involving many political and economic challenges, but unity was achieved. The fall of the Berlin Wall symbolized the end of the Cold War. This conflict had lasted for decades. It led to the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. The world order had been bipolar, dominated by the USA and the USSR. This old order was now gone. New global dynamics emerged. For many people around the world, the wall's fall represents the victory of the human spirit. It shows freedom and democracy can prevail. It is proof that ordinary people can change history. Their courage made a difference. It is a lasting reminder that even